Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's me, RJB, and we're back for another Starcraft cast. And today we have ourselves a match between the players Scan, who has been making rounds and leaving a mark in the SCW 1 vs 1 ladder over the past couple of seasons. And his opponent is none other than HamburgerSasu. But because, as you can see, it doesn't fit into the headliner, we're going to refer to him by his YouTube channel name, which is, Tukka, from 뚜까랜덤, which is the Korean way of saying took a random. He took random. He picked random. That's basically the bottom line of it. So without further ado, let's get into the match. This is a best of something series. Not quite sure what the exact specifics are. But this is between a player most of us foreigners are by now used to. Namely Scan and HamburgerSasu. Now do note this match is played somewhere in May, April, or maybe even in June. So since then, Scan has improved once again at fastest map. But this is back when he really wanted to test himself. Like, what is he capable of? What can he do? How does he match up against the very, very best? That's what we're going to see. How does Scan match up against HamburgerSasu, who is one of the most feared, respected? I don't know. I mean, we all respect his skill, but his antics, his behavior, can sometimes be a little bit too much. Although it's all in, a friendly banter-ish way. So back in January, or start of February, Scan and HamburgerSasu also played 9 games, and Scan lost 7 of them. And HamburgerSasu won 7 of them. Lost 2. That's the way to say it. It was a 7-2 score in favor of HamburgerSasu. They're talking about the Scan's ladder rank there, just a bit of back and forth about who they are, what they do, and why they are here. So Scan starts off with the 3 barrack build order, with the first barrack starting on 8 supply, whereas HamburgerSasu is doing the proven, time and time again, proven build order, going for a nexus, a forge, a pylon in the front, 2 cannons, and a gateway there in the back. Now I have a small little thing to say while we're waiting for the build orders to develop to a point where they can start attacking each other. And that's, I casted a pretty long set before this, but then it turned out that my OBS recorder was once again being a bitch. And all the game sound was missing, and I kind of felt like, not again. I'm not gonna upload a series that I already wasn't satisfied with. Even though it had some big names, But it goes to prove that even big name games can sometimes be a little bit less exciting. Anyway, it was the final straw, the final nail in the coffin, and I decided not to upload it because I don't want to upload something I'm not satisfied with. And so I hope that this set is going to be satisfying as hell. I really hope so. So HamburgerSasu moving out over the map, ready to attack with that single Zealot. Another Zealot is somewhere on the way in his base. He's getting a Citadel of Dune already quite early on into the game. And the Robo facility comes in after the Citadel of Dune, which means he can only be going for Dark Templars. It has to be Dark Templars. Otherwise, I don't see a reason why you would go for the Citadel right before the Robo and not go for a second Robo, instead save up gas for a Temple's Archive. Now this is interesting right here. Scan is gonna build a factory and a starport here on the bottom corner to keep his tank drops out of HamburgerSasu's sight. HamburgerSasu will probably never ever scout this little corner. It's very cheeky from Scan, who somehow fails to intercept this one single Zealot, which will make its way all the way to the back and scout the entire base, get all the information he needs, so he knows exactly how far advanced Scan is with his build order. What Scan does not know, because Scan never got inside of HamburgerSasu's base, is the fact that there's Dark Templars on the way from HamburgerSasu, which is really scary because he is one of those players who can make Dark Templars work insanely well. And oftentimes he even bothers and goes to great lengths to mix it all up with some beautiful Reaver Shuttle Micro. But first, we have Storm on the way. No Dark Templars yet. Not a single one anywhere to be seen. There's 2 Dark Templars. I knew I was right. I just knew they were on the way. He delayed them a little bit. He played with my feelings. He played with my heart. But HamburgerSasu that I know would definitely go for Dark Templars with this build order. He never disappoints me. Whenever I am in doubt, he comes at me with arms open wide and tells me that everything is okay. That's what HamburgerSasu does. He comes at you and tells you it's all okay. And if it isn't, then it will be okay. Although, things are looking not so okay right here on the middle as Scan is moving out over the map with about 24 Marines and 3 medics. He's got Stim Upgrade finished up, and he's got range maybe on the way as well. Maybe he finished range already. Zealots there are going to walk into those Marines and they're going to like, holy crap, that's a lot of Marines, a lot of medics. He's going to try to kill this one, but I don't think it's worth it to kill that last one, but he wants to secure and keep this Expo proxy safe. But the Dark Templars already finished. Dark Templars already on the middle. Dark Templars on the way to the base. Dark Templars killing Marines on the middle. And of course, you don't get a notification, but Scan notices just in time and runs back to base. He's scuttling as fast as he can, where he does not have any detection whatsoever. He's now building a... He's got a scan, so there's one detection method, but he only has 8790 energy. Engineering Bay has not finished yet. He's still on the way. He's preparing himself for the defense. Dark Templar in the front is going to get scanned. No, he's building a depot to make it hard. He scans Dark Templar, kills the Dark Templar. No, Marines are not attacking. The Marines attack eventually, and Dark Templar stays alive. Now he's forced to pull back to the back. The Marines not attacking is huge. Now there's a Dark Templar on the SVs. He's losing his SVs. He's focused on the front there, though, because he doesn't want to... Now he's pulling back. He knows that there's a Dark Templar on his SCVs. He's losing SVs. He only lost 4. Now it's going to be number 5. There comes the scan. He takes down the Dark Templar, but more Dark Templars are being loaded into base. Wait, actually, that's the Dark Templar from the front. He flew it over. There's some great awareness there from HamburgerSasu using and utilizing his Dark Templars to the maximum. There's a turret being built there in the back. But there's no Marines left in the back because Scan pulled them all to the front, which means now that the turret is going to go down before the Marines arrive in the back to take care of the Dark Templar. The Dark Templar goes down just in time because he's repairing the turret. More... Oh, 10 drop is happening there in the base as well at the same time. How many did he kill? 9... He killed 10. He killed 10 probes. 11 probes. So this slows down HamburgerSasu a lot. Can Scan take advantage of this? Once again, all Marines are in the front, nothing in the back. He's making the exact same mistake again by not expecting another wave of attacks of some sort to be coming for the back. And the turret is gonna go down. And now there's 4 Dark Templars in the back, and he has no scan energy at the moment, and he's gonna lose Marines, gonna lose SCVs, gonna lose everything that he has in the back, because the Dark Templars go through those Marines and SCVs so stupidly quick. He's splitting them up. Scan is gonna come down. Scan comes down. He's gonna take care of the Dark Templars, but the Dark Templars are running away. They're splitting up in 2 different directions. They're still alive. One of them is still alive with only 4 HP. That's almost nothing at all. 3 HP, 4 shield, but another tank drop there coming in from Scan onto HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu is prepared though this time around because he's got a Reaver and Zealots there ready to intercept. So he's going to pick them back up and wait a little bit longer. He's going to fly them out and wait for another chance to strike back at HamburgerSasu. He just had a huge hit there on Scan. The Dark Templar is still wreaking havoc here in the base. He's coming in though. He's going to snipe the shuttle. He finally takes down the shuttle. Now he's going to run back to the turret. HamburgerSasu with great awareness keeps the Dark Templar from walking into turret range while also being busy in his own base. His multitasking, as always, is absolutely sublime. And he finds the proxy. This time around, he's got 4 tanks, 3 tanks. He's going to go for the hit on the probes. He's going in. He's flying in. He's splitting them up. He starts unloading. Probes are running away. Tanks are sieging up. Tanks are shooting on the probes, and he kills 11 of them. That's another massive hit, but the drop comes in at the same time as well. And Scan, will he be able to intercept this? The shuttle flies away just in time. The shuttle stays alive, unloads the Reaver. Templar are still in there. Now Scan must think that because the Reaver is unloaded, there's nothing coming for his minerals. This is an absolutely insanely good setup from HamburgerSasu, who's playing mind games on his opponent. He kills this, the Templar Storm. Templar gets picked up and he kills a lot of SCVs there. That's so many dead SCVs. There's only 12 of them left alive there on the mills. And he's still killing Marines there with the Dark Templar. Is still alive with only a single shot left. Talk about getting the absolute most out of your units and your moves. HamburgerSasu is playing on a completely different level. Despite losing his workers a couple of times, he is making Scan fight really hard for this. He's punishing all the small, tiny little mistakes Scan is making that you can only experience and learn from by playing against a player like HamburgerSasu himself. Another drop there coming across the map. He's losing his proxy base here on the bottom corner. I'll be honest, it might have been a little bit too much to go for a proxy base there, because that means that units are spawning on the other side of the map and not in your base, which makes defending a little bit harder if you have them in your base. And it also means minerals are going somewhere that isn't defending. 3 Templars unloading, Templar's gonna storm, Templar misses the storm mostly, but oh no, he kills a bunch of SVs and a bunch of Marines as well. So that is actually probably the nail in the coffin, because we're now looking at 19 SCVs, 52 supply, against 122 supply and 54 probes from HamburgerSasu, who now is finally starting to fill out his base after that little bit of an interruption to his income. It kept hitting him. Scan did that part really well. He kept interrupting the income of HamburgerSasu, but he could not prevent getting his own income interrupted in turn. Drop comes in, he's going to try to intercept, but there's a Reaver, the Zealots, there's Templars everywhere, unloading, he's going to storm, misses the storm mostly, but still kills the tank. The Reaver did almost nothing. The Zealots took down a couple of Marines, and the Templars eventually also go down. And that is probably the least HamburgerSasu has ever gotten out of a single drop that managed to land next to the minerals. These buildings, slowly getting attacked by the Corsair, are returning back to their base. Now there's 4 robos here, one of them still warping, but 4 robos to basically rapid fire shoot those shuttle drops that are continuously coming out from HamburgerSasu. Zealots there are left over on the side. They're talking about something, not sure about what, but a drop comes in. Ooh, Scan isn't seeing it, he doesn't have a lot of vision on the sides. Drops coming in, there's only Templars though. Only Zealots though, so it's just mostly just going to be an annoying drop. Forced to interrupt. But the real drop is going to come in right afterwards. There's 2 Templars in there. Oh, he's flying straight into... No, he's flying around. He's going to use the Corsair that's still alive. Even though it only has a little bit of HP, he's still planning on using it. Doesn't get spotted out. He's going to go for the top corner once again because he knows that there's something in between. He goes for a fake drop first, but the fake drop is not really achieving much. It's just there to distract. And Scan didn't notice there was a fake drop. Templar storms. Templar doesn't storm. Templar gets killed. So the SV's there magically staying alive. He's on 39 against 71 workers. And HamburgerSasu is scaling up into the next phase. He's already preparing another drop, sending it out. And Scan still does not have that much side vision upon the hills. His vision is very limited, so let me highlight it. His vision is, he has vision everywhere within the hills of his base, within the corners and the walls, but has no vision on top, which really limits his reaction ability. And I'm going to highlight that just by doing this. Where's the drop coming from? The drop's coming from the side. It's shown on the mini-map, and there it comes. It's very hard to respond to this instantly. He pulls his SPs away just in time. He's gonna fly a little bit further. Oh, he's gonna kill everything that's there on the low end. A lot of Zealots, a lot of Templars. He's killing everything that's there. That's so many Zealots there on the low ground from HamburgerSasu. 6 of them in total. The Raids there are his saving grace, but the Zealots are so strong, although they don't have speed. They're very slow Zealots. But still, slow Zealots against a very poor and small Terran can still do quite some damage. Not a drop. No, that's a Corsair. This is the drop that we're looking for. Ooh, 7 Zealots, 1 Templar. Like, basically just dropping Zealots into Scan space is gonna hurt. So he's forced to go in a little bit prematurely because there's raids coming in, but the raids don't take down the Templar shuttle just quick enough, and Storm kills... Oh! 4. Not the big storm that I was expecting. But the Zealots there, killing Marines once again. Scan is forced to pull his workers off the minerals so many times in a row that he's never really growing. His SCV count is growing. His units are kind of every time being replenished, but just to the amount that he's losing them. The raids, though, being in the air, they are staying alive. But looks like a massive drop with Reavers is in the making. And the massive Reaver drop is going to come across the map and try to put a nail in the coffin. Also, Dragoons, of course, going to break through the front. Wait, he might not even go for the command center. He might not even go for the minerals. He might just unload behind the wall here and end this game once and for all with a frontal mixed attack. Shuttles coming in, shuttles unloading. He's going to try to intercept the shuttles, but the shuttles are loading right behind on top of the tanks, and now there's nothing left to defend. The Dragoons are going to barge through the depot wall. The Reavers are killing everything there on the way around. Raids are trying their hardest, but the Raids cannot fight against these Dragoons. Once those Dragoons get through the wall, this game is over forever. Scan is now supply blocked as well. Scan calls G because he sees so many units entering his base, and that's the game. That's game number 1, going in favor of HamburgerSasu, who played a really strong Protoss once again, maximizing the efficiency and effectiveness of his units really, 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 really well. As always, impressively played by HamburgerSasu. That means that the score is now in favor of player number 1, HamburgerSasu, who gets a 1 here on the scoreboard. And we're moving over to game number 2. It's a little refreshing drink. Alright, so let's move over to game number 2. They are swapping races for game number 2, so it should be kind of interesting to see how well can Scan play Protoss against a monster, a Terran Master, on fastest map, of course, because Scan is a Terran Master on the regular maps, but HamburgerSasu is a Terran Master on the fastest maps. How well can Scan, from the past, not the present day Scan, match up against HamburgerSasu in a 1 vs 1 with playing Protoss against Terran? Let's speed up the first 2 minutes, and just let's see what he is going to do. Alright, I'll be honest. I'll be very honest. I do not like proxy mid-gate in Korean games, because Koreans are really good at micro. But there's a big but in the room. There's a very big but in the room, and I cannot deny or lie that it exists. I have to acknowledge its existence. And that but is this command center being built there, which is going to slow down the marine timing from HamburgerSasu so significantly that Scan might just make this proxy mid-gate build order work to great success. Although he hasn't found HamburgerSasu yet. And not finding HamburgerSasu and sending his zealots to the wrong location actually might make this defendable for HamburgerSasu. If these zealots had gone straight for HamburgerSasu's base here, it would have been a completely different story. Also, this SCV being annoying in the base there, forcing Scan to pull a probe and another probe off the minerals, is also, of course, slowing things down. Even though it's just a little bit. Zealot eventually does find the base, but there's a bunker there in the back, so he's not going to get on top of the bunker. The forge has started there though in the base, and Zealots are on the way. He's going to keep this SCV alive there on the map. He's going to build a barracks somewhere, I feel, because that's usually what you do if you keep that SCV alive. He's sneaking it into the base. Scan is not noticing it, I think. Marines are there on the chase, though now they are being chased by what they were chasing, or at least what they were finding. And they didn't like what they found, because 6 Zealots with those large blades, not kind of fun to walk into on a Saturday night stroll in the park. Though this doesn't quite resemble a park. If this was a park, it would be... It's a weird park, honestly. Let's just ignore that train of thought. So Academy's now on the way. Marines are dancing back and forth around the barracks, but Scan is trying to get on top of them. Although he can go for it. He should go for it. But he wants to securely get his cannons up first, but the longer he waits, the more Marines will finish, and Firebats are soon on the way as well, because the Academy is finished, and Stim Brigade is on the way. But first comes the Stim. There come the Firebats as well. Scan goes in, but Scan falls back as well. He's not trusting his Zealots. He can go for it. Gets around. The Marines are being mounted backwards around the bunker. Towards the bunker. He isn't going for it. He can go for it, but he doesn't go for it yet. Firebats have finished, which now means that Firebats, the HamburgerSasu, I mean, is going to try and stop those cannons from finishing, but the cannons are finishing, and Zealots are now pushing their advantage with support of the cannons finishing. And the cannons are finished, the barracks are now under attack. Factories being built and started there, pretty close to the cannons actually, so if this cannon push continues, this might actually turn out pretty bad for HamburgerSasu. But the Firebats and the medics do have the ability to strike soon, but more Zealots are coming out from the middle. He's building another bunker there to try and offset, but as he gets taken down, there's a lot of damage on the Zealots there though from the Marines and the Firebats. He cancels another engineering bay or a barracks there on the side. He finds himself a nice little way, a nice little spot where he's outside of the range of the cannons to take down cannons. The cannons were misplaced just a tiny little bit. He takes down 2 cannons. He's going to try to take down a 3rd one. The Firebats are taking down the Zealots. This is beautifully played from HamburgerSasu, and Scan is being tested for sure. Although he managed to get 1 cannon up and running. But there's the bunker, and the bunker is going to get repaired. So now he's attacking the bunker, but he can't really attack the bunker. The bunker takes down the cannon. And HamburgerSasu holds away the cannons really, really well by somehow making it work. Somehow he makes it work. There's no cannons around the Nexus, which is kind of dangerous because the barracks here on the bottom corner has finished. And as soon as it gets lifted over, Scan's minerals are in immediate danger to a stimped Firebat. Scan now though is making small progress closer and closer towards the factory. He's got siege mode on the way. He's got marine range finished as well. He's repairing the bunkers, because the bunkers are getting attacked. His worker count is slightly bigger than Scan's. He's trying to fill out the remaining space in his base with bunkers. He's going for he tries to snipe the probe, but the probe gets pulled to safety just in time. Units on the side here are dying. More cannons are being built there as well. Firebat here is on the way. He's building a cannon, but the Firebat will spawn just before. He goes in. Scan isn't noticing. Scan gets his probes roasted. No! What? He killed both sides. He killed 25. Nice. He didn't want to finish off the big side first. So yeah, Scan there is toast. Scan is toast, basically. HamburgerSasu's base might be small, but losing his workers to the Firebats there is massive. He did kill the SCP there. He's now killed the factory on the bottom side as well. But the game is looking really bad for Scan in this phase because the tank there is finished. And he's got nothing, absolutely nothing to kill the tank. At this point, as the Protoss, you might as well leave. Because the comeback potential is really, really small. For example, something that HamburgerSasu can do now is make 1 more Firebat and just, stim attack this single cannon and maybe kill the cannon with 2 stim Firebats. But if this cannon here, the other cannon finishes, that won't be possible. But there's only 5 probes there mining minerals. This is a disaster for Scan. He got caught off guard. He missed the SCP in his base. Because while he was focused on trying to kill HamburgerSasu. He's got 3 Firebats now. 3 Firebats should be enough to get on top of the probes. He's running towards the probes. The probes are gonna... No, he's taking down the cannon instead of going for the probes. And the cannon stays alive because there's 2 cannons and it's a little bit too much. But nonetheless, HamburgerSasu is on the counter push. And he's got 30 more SCV than Scan has workers. Which is quite telling of the state that this game is in. Barracks eventually gets lifted up. Scan has secured his workers, but he has pretty much nothing to hold on to. He does have a Reaver on the way. He built a support bay there. Couldn't find it. Added on another Nexus. But at this point, HamburgerSasu can just stim his way through all those cannons, enter the middle, and kill Scan. While Scan only has 6 Zealots with no speed. And a shuttle with a Reaver, and he's got 3 more Zealots on the middle, so 9 Zealots, 1 Reaver with a shuttle. if he has some absolutely godlike Reaver Shuttle Micro, he can make this work. He can kill all those Marines. But it's gonna be very difficult to pull off. There's one shot, he's now gonna have to run away with the Reaver. Reaver gets unloaded a little bit too early, he's still alive though! Doesn't shoot. HamburgerSasu pulls back, wisely as he should. Pulls back. Barracks has landed once again. More Marines are onto the way onto the middle. Reaver with the shuttle is still alive. Tanks are sieging up. So the Zealots can no longer approach, because if they do, they get taken down by the tanks and then the Marines just have to finish them off. But also it means that the Reaver cannot unload, because the tanks will then shoot on the Reaver and the Reaver goes down the moment it unloads. It's gonna try though. Doesn't shoot, doesn't get a chance to. It has to unload too quick. Oh, the Reaver got taken down by the tank shot. And now the game is over. Scan tried his hardest, but HamburgerSasu just played this so well. He played it really well. I do think Scan had a significant or a realistic chance to win the game if he didn't lose his workers, because he was in a pretty good position. His tech was advancing, and he had a pretty good contain on HamburgerSasu that was about to get broken, but it would take so much time to get broken that Scan would have been able to formulate a counter-attack or an answer to HamburgerSasu's push into the middle, which, because he lost his workers, he didn't have. Yeah, that's game number 2, and really well played by HamburgerSasu. Well played by Scan, but he got caught off guard once again, just like in the previous game. And HamburgerSasu, if you give him an inch, he takes your entire arm, he takes your life, he takes everything away from you. And Scan felt it. Everything he had was taken by the HamburgerSasu, the vengeful, evil Demon King, or whatever you want to call him. But there is a third game between HamburgerSasu and Scan, and we're now diving right into the final game. I mean, the set has already been won by HamburgerSasu, although you could say it's a best of 5, but I already spoiled that there's 3 replays. But Scan is on a pretty good spawning location this time around. He's right next to HamburgerSasu, and he's got the hill advantage here, but I don't know if Scan is one of the players aware or prepared enough to abuse that hill advantage to his advantage. But let's get the first 2 minutes out of the way. HamburgerSasu on the Protoss, Scan on the Terran. Attempt number 2 for the Terran versus Protoss to be put into practice. It looks like Scan is going for mech, which is one of his staple build orders that he's going these days in SCW, and pretty much nobody in SCW seems to have been able to formulate an answer to what Scan is doing in SCW, at least on Terran. I don't think he's lost a single match where he went for a factory opening. So he went for mech vultures opening. That's his main build order these days. He's got amazingly good mech control and micro. It's one of his best strengths. His micro is exceptionally high level. HamburgerSasu though went for a build order that I think is somewhat exposed and weak to what Scan is doing here. Although the 2 Zealots there might just, you know, buy HamburgerSasu a little bit of time, but the factory is almost finished, and once the Vulture spawns, HamburgerSasu will not have enough Zealots to fight. SCV's there blocking the Zealots. The Zealots gonna get on top of the Marine though. The Marine's gonna run away just in time. Now the SCVs are blocking the Zealots still, but he's gonna lose one SCV there. But now HamburgerSasu gonna attack the SCVs straight on. That's the target he can go for before the Vulture spawns or the Vulture kills the Zealots. So that's the best option HamburgerSasu has right now. He killed, I think, about 4 of those SCVs, so that's quite significant. And there comes the Vulture Micro from Scan. Let's track this Vulture for a little bit just to see what it looks like. Dancing back and forth. Oh, he stopped dancing there for a little second there. And the Zealot kills another. No, doesn't kill the SCV. Now, HamburgerSasu knows exactly what to do. Doesn't build any cannons, he just builds a gateway and a pylon there in the front so that the vultures cannot get through, and so that he gives himself just enough time to get some Dragoons out, because Dragoons are the natural enemy the natural predator of vultures. They are the hardest counter to vultures. That's why you see them so often on the normal maps. Dragoon on the way there, 2 Dragoons there in the base, and he's get a Cyber Core, and he's adding on 2 more gateways. So he's planning on going for mass gateway units. Dragoons have arrived, the pylon is still alive, and the vultures are forced to run away. We've got a machine shot there on the way in the base, building mines, not going for a tank. He's got a starport, no, there's a command center, no starport on the way. He's got a single gas there, and he's on 17 SCVs, and number 18 is there on the way. HamburgerSasu is on 25 workers at the moment. He's got 5 gateways in total, and he's preparing a gateway mass. He's got Dragoon range on the way there as well. And there's 6 vultures, and the vultures are blocking the Dragoon. The Dragoon is stuck in vulture prison. Goes down eventually there though. Now do note that vultures deal concussive damage, which deals full damage to small units, but Dragoons are medium-sized units, so they take half damage from the vultures. So instead of taking 20 damage, they take about 10. I think it's 10. It might be 5 actually. Anyway, Dragoons are on the way, pushing into the base, and there's mines in between and no detection from HamburgerSasu yet. So HamburgerSasu not having the micro skills of Bisu, where Bisu is able to step forward, trigger a mine, and kill the mine before the mine reaches the Dragoon by stepping backwards. He's forced to wait for his robotics to finish and to get an observatory. Or maybe he's just going to completely ignore the observatory and go straight into drops. Or land his Dragoons up on the hill, which is also a really great option. Just land them on the hill and get control over this entire choke portion. But I don't think that is his choice. Zealot there though, gonna do some scouting, but Vulture's there ready to stop the Zealots from triggering the mines, because the mines staying untriggered is a great deterrent on those Dragoons. He's got the starport finished, engineering bay there on the side is on the way. He's got siege tank on the way now as well in siege mode. Siege tank has not yet finished. Dragoons are keeping the vultures away. So apparently this is what you have to do against vultures, against mech. You get very quick Dragoons, wall of your front, and then the vultures just can't get in. Now, he is not going for a dropship though, and I do think a dropship with a tank drop could have been massive, or even just a vulture drop could have been massive. Because that would really put HamburgerSasu in danger, but he's not going forward. He does have Observer on the way there though to take care of the mines. He has a shuttle finish as well, but I'm not sure what the shuttle exactly is going to do. It might just be there for the future, or maybe he's just going to land Zealots in the base and do some scouting. It looks like he's going to do some scouting, or maybe he's going to land on top of the siege tank, but the turret finishes just in time. Right there, scouting HamburgerSasu's base. This match is a lot closer than the previous ones, in my opinion. So he just still has the shuttle there with the Zealots to unload on top of the tanks. He's looking for an angle to fly in from, that the shuttle doesn't go down before unloading everything it wants to. Although the raid there going for the shuttle micro is pretty, the raid micro is pretty sweet, but he still manages to unload all the Zealots from the shuttle on the low ground on top of the tanks. But the Vultures take care of the Zealots, the tanks take care of the Dragoons. Dragoons are in the back, they're going down though from the target firing from HamburgerSasu, but HamburgerSasu is now facing 2 more tanks that have just spawned, and he's forced away back to his own base. 2 Reavers has finished. No shuttles to carry them, shuttles are on the way. Shuttle speed has not yet been started. He's making more gateways and added a single cute little cannon on his Nexus. Dropship is on the way there from Scando, so he's definitely going to try and abuse the drop and the very exposed probes here from HamburgerSasu. He's going to try to get at least a tank shot off on those probes. But, you know, picking up tanks and flying them into your opponent's base has to get results in this situation, because the fewer tanks he has in his own base, the harder defending will be. So he has to hit hard, and then, of course, have enough to defend. One thing I really dislike here, though, is that he doesn't have a wall. He's now finishing the wall, though. So he's finally getting the wall, but it might be a little bit too late because the Dragoons are already on the way, and shuttles as well. He only has 3 tanks and about 7 vultures, exactly 7 vultures. He's going to unload those units behind enemy lines. The Reavers unloading as well. The Reavers are going to get huge shots up on the vultures, and the tanks are there in the back as well to try and support, to try and keep this all alive. But the Reavers are still alive. The Reavers are shooting on the tanks. The Reavers are not shooting in time. The Reavers didn't shoot at all. And that is the saving grace for Scan. Although Dragoons are there, broken through the wall, taking down tanks and all the tanks, every single tank that he loses, is one he cannot afford to lose. Zealot's coming in as well. Zealot's going to get on top of the tank. This tank is going to go down. Tank goes down. Observer there pays for its overextension with its life. But there's no mines, luckily for HamburgerSasu. So Scan now in a pretty bad situation where he's got a lot of money, but only 2 factories, and he has to build a wall quick and has to build more tanks as well. And HamburgerSasu is in a position where he can send out mass frontal attacks and send out drops as well. So HamburgerSasu has scaled into the mid-game better than Scan did, where HamburgerSasu has the ability to keep punching, whereas Scan is forced to keep defending and very quickly build a base. He's got 60 workers against 65 from HamburgerSasu. Drop there on the top side being loaded up, and there's not enough turrets to intercept, but there is an engineering bay there to extend the vision range of the turrets. So he's going to have to find another way in, but he flies in. There's a single raid there in between, but he's attacking from the front at the same time as well, and Scan is focusing on the defending the front, but now the Zealots are loading on the base, and there's a Reaver as well, and the Reaver shoots on the SCVs, and that's 18 SCV kills, and that's even more SCV kills, though there's only about 2 or 3 there on top of the stack. Scarab is chasing the SCVs, but Scarab is not going to explode. In the front got defended successfully. The turrets are being killed there on the side. SCVs are getting killed by Zealots, and there's still a Reaver there in the base trying to kill SCVs. So Scan went down from 61 SCVs all the way down to 38, and he's still losing turrets on the side. His attention is being spread thin. Dragoons once again trying to break through the front. Drops coming in. Kills the shuttle though, but the Reaver's going to finish off some turrets before it goes down. One more shot on the tank. The tank goes down. That's disastrous as well. The front is getting taken down, but the Dragoons are pretty darn strong. There's a lot of tanks here though, but the wall gets broken. And a broken wall means that Zealots can get through in the future. And Scan has to rebuild that wall as fast as he can. He's going to have to do his best Trump impersonation to keep those Dragoons out. Those illegal aliens. Which Protoss technically are. They are illegal aliens. But there's actually nothing wrong with saying that one. Illegal Protoss aliens. Though I'm not sure if they're really that illegal though. They're just aliens, basically. Although they are invading, so... You know, that's a very Trumpian thing to say, to be honest. Kind of surprised by myself. Alright, 3 command centers, now 55 SCVs. He's got a pretty good SCV production going on there, but he's only got 5 factories and 3 starports, of which one is only just now in production. Or construction is the correct way of saying this. Shuttles coming in from the front. He's going to unload these on those tanks once again. One mine gets a pretty good hit there on a couple of Dragoons and Zealots, but now the units are coming in from the front. Although now he's unloading on top of the Zealot. The raid comes in just in time to stop the shuttles from happening. But the amount of Zealots and Dragoons is massive. All he needs is break through the wall, and these tanks behind the wall pose no threat whatsoever. He's just gonna walk them over and end this game once and for all. There goes the Dragoons, there goes the Zealots coming into the base. There's only a couple of tanks that are left in the back, but it's not hard to get on top of those tanks because there's nothing blocking access to those tanks. Although the Dragoons will have some trouble, but the Zealots will not. Well, the Zealots are attacking a factory for some reason. Which means that he can build another wave of tanks, but he's pushing the tanks forward because he has to take care of defending these turrets. But I'm not sure if that's the wisest choice. He should pull them back and just fortify this entire backstab. So he's seizing up in the front while Zealots are on the way. No, this is a massive mistake from Scan. He's trying to get control back over his choke, but he's being a little bit too greedy. He should just set up a defensive line all the way in the back of his base. Because now these tanks are going to die, which means that there's no tanks left in the back except these 5. And if he had 9 tanks in the back here, he would have had a better chance at defending. But I think this game is over. Moving those tanks to the front, trying to fortify the front instead of trying to fortify the back, was the nail in his own coffin. HamburgerSasu played this really well. He didn't do fancy drop stuff, he just did fancy massing and target focus. He had a great plan, executed it step by step, and won the game against Scan and takes home the 3-0 hat-trick over Scan, winning 3 games in a row, and Scan sadly bites the dust as Reavers unload next to his SCVs, which of course is the extra nail in the coffin that was already sealed and buried 6 feet deep. So yeah, that's quick 3-0 from HamburgerSasu over Scan, who couldn't take a single game of the HamburgerSasu. He fought bravely, fought well, but couldn't stand up to the terror that is HamburgerSasu. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found this series entertaining. I was entertained for sure. So yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe, leave a whatever you want to do. I hope to be seeing you next time around for another set of some amazing Starcraft fastest map on Brood War Remastered. Goodbye. I love you all.